gotta get a shot at that, bro. I'm seeing that. We doing a little switch up today. MUFS bringing you the truth and nothing but it. We in New Orleans right now at the established Roosevelt Hotel. You know, I've worn my finest attire. You know, had to make sure that I dress to impress. But we're not just doing any type of interview today. We're going to interview the security guards to see whether or not they feel safe in their own establishment and what's it like being a security guard in New Orleans. Because, you know, surprise, surprise, New Orleans.
Nice place.
Born and raised. I don't actually know. It's like an actual bottle. This guy. You know, so I've noticed while looking around this beautiful building, they got the Nazi eagle right up there. And instead of holding a swastika, it's holding an R from Roosevelt. I don't know what's up with that, but I'll have to ask them. And then also, they got some pretty nice jewelry over there. I'm wondering, you know, let me try on a piece. You know, just like a little try on before I buy it, you know, just a little something. Yeah, and then we got the fine shit over there. I don't know what she doing. You over there. She gotta be tired though. Like she's holding her arm up. Let's interview her. Is your arm tired? Yeah. How much they pay you to do this? No luck with the ladies, I guess. Fun fact: some dude got his face blown off at the other end of this what maybe like hallway, like lobby area. I don't really know what you would call it. It's a little above my pay grade, you know, but I'm pretty sure I fit right in. You know, just I'm like dressed the same as this guy right here. You know, we look exactly the same. What did you say? Exactly the same. You can't tell the difference between us. But yeah, you know, just walking through. Got these desks here that's obviously, you know, very practical in use, not for show, you know, it's really like for the use of it. Then the tiles here are pretty nice. Dude, I'm sure like that table costs my car. Why does it cost my home? I really don't know. That lady looked at me, he's looking at me, hello. They were giving me weird looks, I don't know, that was scary.
They don't work here.
They don't work here? I don't care. Yeah, we got permission to be here to film. You know, we're not just being assholes. We're not like harassing people in a place of business. That's a little below us. Professionals have standards. Sniper.
So tell us what we're doing today.
Oh yeah, this is where yeah, he's good. So, what's your name, man?
Aaron.
Cool, man. Nice to meet you. So, we're MUFS. We're just some journalists here to get the truth and nothing but it. So let me just start asking you these questions. How long have you been a security guard here?
Just under a year.
Just under a year? Mm-hmm. What's that been like?
I mean, you know, sometimes you have crazy stories, other times it's easy going, but you know, you get a good mixture of kind of everything.
All right, well, I'm here for those crazy stories. So, like one question about a crazy story: does New Orleans have a homeless problem?
Yeah,
They do. And do you see that problem firsthand as a security guard?
I mean, most shifts, yeah.
Most shifts?
Yeah.
So, like, what would you say is like the craziest time you've experienced the homeless crisis in New Orleans while on duty?
I mean, I would say Christmas time in the gift shop, we had a homeless guy in there, and you know, we had to kick him out, even though it's open to the public. We can't let the homeless in there, unfortunately.
Hey, don't mind me. I'm just, you know, I gotta get a little bit nice dressed, you know.
So there was a homeless person on there. I'm trying to, you know, move them out. And then, you know, at first they're all calm, and then they can kind of switch on a dime, and then it kind of turns on me, and you know, all freaks out. And then out of his coat pocket drops a sharpened drumstick.
Oh.
So I'm like, oh, okay, well, that could have been fun, but he just went out his way.
Okay, word. So I've heard, like, in the past 2 days or so, there was a very serious shooting at this street. Do you want to talk about that?
I mean, it wasn't on my shift. I don't know who was involved. I don't know the shooter or the people that got shot. All I know is that the person who got shot had grazed the side of the face. And that was it. I mean, it actually happened by the IHOP, and then they kind of heard their way around over here. At the Rome and Common is where EMS was able to get that.
Word. Let's see. I just got to scroll down to these questions. Hold on. You look so handsome today. I just want to let you know you're killing that suit.
Thank you. I just woke up from a nap.
Ah, you're very welcome. Are you sleeping on the job?
No.
No, of course not. We're at the Roosevelt here. The security guards don't sleep on the job. So,
I would know.
I have a physical description of the shooter. It looks an awful lot like you. What's that about?
No, I was fast asleep at home.
You're fast asleep at home?
Yeah.
Supposedly. All right, we'll go with that. So, what would you change about this job if you would change anything at all?
I mean, within the security department, there's nothing I would really change. Honestly, the biggest thing is having the other departments be a little more independent, because whenever they're stuck on something, instead of going up the ladder within their own department, everyone kind of funnels back to security, thinking that we have the answer.
Okay.
I mean, we'll try and point them in the right direction, but a lot of the time, it's us saying, well, that's not our job. Like, we don't know, how to patch that up or where to go.
Okay, word, I feel that. So I know y'all have to respond to like room calls. Let's say if somebody's smoking in the room, you have to go and tell them no. What's the craziest experience of going to a room?
I mean, I haven't had anything too crazy. Just New Year's Eve, I had a guest who lost their key card, and so I had to verify their ID, make sure it was the right person, who could get into the room. And I mean, it was more funny than everything. They were just kind of sprawled out on the ground, and I could see she was, trying to find her ID in her big bag, and there's just a bunch of little mini shooter bottles. So someone was having fun New Year's Eve.
Oh, yeah, someone having a
So
good
I haven't had
time.
anything too crazy with, on the
Oh,
floors.
word. So you would consider that a good thing, right? Nothing too crazy at this
No,
job?
yeah. No, I haven't had anything crazy in a bad way.
All right. And then let's see, I'm gonna ask you just like two more questions. I'm not gonna take too much of your time. How did you get this job? Like, did you have to have any prior security, like, not clearance, but requirements, I guess?
To my knowledge, no. I forget who exactly I was talking to. It was either my supervisor or the assistant director. I asked them, how did I get this job, because I don't really have security background. They wanted someone who was able to kind of de-escalate situations, and so in previous jobs I've had to work with certain types of people. That's what they were looking for, is someone who could just de-escalate instead of someone to just kind of come in and rough people on out.
Okay, word. Well, I mean, that's pretty much like all the questions I have for you. Have you been a security guard anywhere else? Or if you could be a security guard anywhere else, where would that be?
I mean, technically, back when I was in college, I worked campus security at a library, but that was very, very tame.
Very tame, nothing crazy happening.
No, nothing.
Okay, word. So if you could like change where you were working, let's say if the Roosevelt could be anywhere you wanted it to be, where would you put it?
Anywhere I wanted to be. I mean, Vegas would always be fun.
Vegas?
New Orleans is a bit of a derivative of Vegas, or vice versa, depending on how you look at it. So, I mean, it's a different culture out there. So, just to get somewhat of a change of scenery.
All right, word. Well, hey, man, that's all the questions I got for you. Thank you very much, man.
My pleasure.
Yeah, of course. This place is like amazing. I'm sure the table is like my car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a pretty nice place. But I came here dressed to impress, and so did my cameraman. This is like Dior.
That's how you would always show up.
You ready? So, hey, I'm Cole. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, bro.
I'm with MUFS. I'm a journalist, and I'm here to ask security guards at the Roosevelt how they like their job and just other odd questions. So let's get the first one out the way. How did you end up getting the job?
Honestly, I was looking for a job right after COVID. This one came up and seemed pretty good, and been here ever since.
Word. So, what, like 3 years you've been here? 4 years?
Almost 3. Yeah.
Almost 3? What's the craziest thing you've seen on duty?
Can't really speak on that, but we've seen some things.
You've seen some things? Okay, I feel that. Well, if you had to put it in hypothetical terms, what have you hypothetically seen, and what has hypothetically happened?
Crazy New Orleans things.
Crazy New Orleans things. Speaking of crazy New Orleans things, I heard supposedly that there was a shootout just on the other side of those doors, and hypothetically you might have been parts there.
Actually, the shootout that happened was at the corner at the Voodoo Chicken.
Okay, so, and it just like so happened to carry itself over here?
Yeah, I don't know if it actually carried on over here, but I think everybody just ran from that direction past it.
Okay, word. So if you could like change the location of your job, where would you change it? And I'm talking about like the building itself. You can just put it in any place you wanted to put it.
I think it's good here. I like working in this area.
Okay, word. So you like New Orleans? You like the area?
Absolutely.
So how long have you lived in New Orleans?
Whole life. Been
Whole
here for
life?
38 years.
That's
Not
good.
going anywhere.
Heard that. So would you say New Orleans has a homeless crisis?
Absolutely.
As a security guard, how do you see it like affect the guest? You know, do you think that homelessness like brings less people to the hotel or whatever?
To be honest, I don't think that homelessness stops people from coming here, just because that's not really something that people from out the state know about.
Okay.
It's something you see when you get here.
Okay.
So I don't really think it deters people. I think more than homeless, it would be the crime that people hear about that would stop them.
Okay, word. So, I know supposedly as a security guard, you have to go make sure nobody's doing anything they're not supposed to in their rooms. Has there ever been a situation where it's been like a dangerous, we can't go to this room, or what's the craziest thing that's happened? Like responding to a call?
I can't
talk
speak.
about it?
Yeah, I
Aw,
can't speak.
man, it's
Some of
all
that stuff
good.
is confidential. I just
All right,
can't
word.
talk about it.
Well, have you ever worked a security job before this?
Yes, but it was a different type. You're talking about like nightclub security. So
Nightclub
it's a
security?
little different.
Okay. Would you prefer the nightclub security or the really nice hotel security?
Nightclub security is a whole different world. Like that's more of like a party crowd, kind of upbeat, whereas this is more like laid back,
Okay.
kind of observant.
Okay, word. So, can you tell us the craziest thing that's happened as a night club security guard?
Oh, I mean, crazy fights, brawls. I mean, you name it.
So you can throw down that one too. You got
Oh, yeah.
Okay, word. That's good. That's good, man. Well, I don't really have a lot more questions for you. Do you like your job?
Love it here.
Love it, man. That's all I got for you, Sammy. Thank you so much. The man, the myth, the legend, Sammy himself. Dude, you're like this dude just can't stop talking. He's like, dude, he's so handsome. He's so strong. Looks so good
Sounds
in
like
that
Aiden.
suit.
Sounds
Yeah, it
about
still sounds. There is no reason why this letterbox.
You know what's
should look
crazy?
like-
These
What?
go up all 14 floors, and they're like old fashioned.
So they like
So-
just drop down.
Yeah, people drop letters down, and they land here.
Why is it? It doesn't need to look like this. Just put like a tiny little box.
But it's
up
from
here.
like the 1800s or something, dog. It's fancy.
Okay, so it's got the Nazi, what? Eagle.
It's not Nazi.
Falcon?
It's just an eagle. All right, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. So what's up, man? I'm Cole. I'm with MUFS. I'm a journalist, and I gotta know what's it like being a bartender at the Sazerac?
Honestly, it's a little bit unreal. It's honestly an honor. I didn't know the reputation this bar had until I actually started working here. I get people coming in from Europe, South America, from Spain, and they all come here specifically for this bar. And to actually get a bar that's reputable internationally is kind of like out of this world. So my first shift, I'm not gonna lie, it was kind of like living in a dream.
Man, okay, word. That's really cool to know. What would you say was like your most entertaining guest experience? You know, like somebody's coming and acting a fool.
I believe it was Halloween 2 years ago. I know some of the costumes get kind of like out of whack. I had a woman come in here in a stroller, and I thought it was a child. No, it was her dad was in a stroller, dressed as a baby in a full diaper. And I thought she was wearing a shirt. No, she just had a lot of paint and scarves over her body.
Wow.
So she was just basically naked in the bar.
Cool. Hey, it's New Orleans, man.
Man, dude, it's wild though.
So, have you worked any other bartender jobs?
No, just this one and only. I want to make sure I differentiate. I don't really bartend, I cocktail serve.
Oh, okay.
Trust me, even with my ability to bartend, it could not keep up the caliber of of clientele and work they need to put in. I don't want to throw too much juju on them. Trust me, I try to put in as much work as possible. Those bartenders back there, they're the real machines, all right?
All right, word. So they're the real machines, man. All right, I feel that. When you say juju, like juju on that beat?
No. Yeah.
All right, word. So, you're working at the Sazerac, right? And you say it's got a lot of reputation, a lot of honor towards it. What would you change about the job if you could change something? Like if management was right here, listen up, you. What would you say?
Listen to the staff.
Listen to the staff.
That is 100%. If I would keep it short and sweet, I promise you, we've been doing this for a lot longer than they've been in position. A lot of the staff in here are veterans who've been working here for, even me, I've been here for about 8 years, going on 9.
Whoa.
Everyone in there has been like almost 15, 10, and we know what we're saying. So when we give input, you just have to be quiet and listen.
So you've worked here for 8, 9 years. What has changed since then?
Well, Aiden's no longer here. No longer having a full staff because everyone's getting out, because I guess our team morale is kind of like gone down the drain.
Ever since this thing left.
We left one of the goats. I don't
It's always your fault.
Hey, bro. Other than that, I say we're more corporate driven.
More corporate. So when you say more corporate driven, does that affect the pay of your job? Because I'm also in the service industry.
So it doesn't really affect the pay, it just affects the team morale altogether. Everything has now become just, hey, we have to do this because it looks good on the numbers, or we have to do this because it fits whatever they want to implicate. So we'll legit just have everything working fine and dandy, all of our cogs are well oiled and moving in a proper manner. And then when someone's just like, hey, it would be really great if we change out everything to silly straws and give us like fake glassware. And we're just like, that doesn't work. And they're like, well, it doesn't matter. This is it's going to fit what we are trying to make ourselves out to be. Okay. We're trying to basically mask the identity that our bar is known for, just because we are trying to get higher reviews or just higher clientele in, or just to slap some type of sticker on. It's like, hey, we're certified with this, only just to make it harder for the staff right here, so everyone else gets paid more. What I mean by everyone else gets paid more, I mean just the higher ups. Okay,
man, no, that's actually kind of real. That's a really big thing with the service industry nowadays. Well, you mentioned you've worked here for 8 and 9 years. I'm assuming you live in New Orleans?
Not really, close enough.
Close enough? So if you live close enough, you do have a say on whether or not New Orleans has a homeless problem or not.
Yes.
So would you like to talk about that? Because you're kind of in the heart of it.
I believe New Orleans has been having a homeless problem, and everyone's just like, we don't have the means or the money or the way to actually clean up and change anything. And recently, the city's been disappointing me by showing me they do have a way of doing it. They just don't want to. So I'm not sure if you remember, some of the safest I've ever seen the streets was during the Taylor Swift concert. We hired state troopers from all over. We buffed up our security. We hired like legit just security companies from all over as well. We brought in more NOPD officers, and we enlist security guards from the hotels in the surrounding area, all for Taylor Swift fans. Not only was the CBD safe, but New Orleans East had people just out and about at like 2 and 3 a.m. Not a care in the world of how normally it's crime ridden, simply because they had that much security and that much police out. And it was the same thing for the Super Bowl. And they relocated all the homeless people just out of sight. They didn't give a care about where they were, or they didn't give a damn about like if they're going to be safe or where they're going to sleep. They just wanted them out of sight, out of mind, just for this event. And it showed me that, hey, with the incentive or with the know-how or without the dragging of feet, we have a solution to beef up security and try and relocate homeless at least into a more sheltered like area, which I heard they are working on, but it took this long,
No, I know exactly what you're saying. Well, my man, I got one final question for you.
Yeah.
What's up with the Nazi bird? I don't know, man. Come on, look at it. Look at it.
Council, man. Worked around murals that came from the Jim Crow era. And if you're down, and trust me, I had to go a little bit more insightful in the history of that era just to like open my mind to working around it. Like there's legit like depictions of slaves and like picking cotton. When you go back in the bar, you can look over murals that are painted by Paul Nunez back in 1930 for the opening of the bar. And these were the things he saw in New Orleans, and the art style he was used to using just so happens to fit that era and that style. Like I said, it wasn't racist at that time, but that's how it just aged poorly. That's just how it's depicted now. And with this bird, it's not really a signal of like Nazi Germany or the swastika bird or anything. It's legit just the Freedom Eagle like depiction of, I believe, one of the former presidents, Teddy Roosevelt. This is the symbol and stamp I believe he used back in the day.
Hell yeah, man.
Right.
Well, hey, thank you very much.
Anytime.
Great interview.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course.
Sorry if I kind of ranted.
No, I can tell like a bunch of rich old white people just too good for their money.
I wouldn't call them rich. I would call them rich adjacent or rich athlete.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Some of them, the ones that I feel like really have money, are a little more quiet. We call this place a dive bar for rich people, though, because they come in and they completely trash it. They want to walk in with no shoes or take off their shoes, or they're like, "Can we bring chicken from brother?" Like, no.
Okay. Well, hey, that's the only thing I'm gonna ask you. Thank you very much.
Don't tell my bosses I said that.
Yes, ma'am.
We did, in fact, not tell her boss, and because of this, we were invited inside the Sazerac. Here before you is a plaque that goes into the controversial paintings and the person that painted them. Pause it if you want to read it, or don't. I really don't care. Now enough side play, it's time to get back to our regular interviews. So I would like for everybody to be introduced to this guy right here.
All right, so I'm Cole. I'm with MUFS. We're journalists, and we're here in New Orleans to ask security guards what they, think about their job in New Orleans. So that's the first thing I'm going to ask you. What's it like being a security guard in New Orleans?
That's laid back. It's pretty cool. Get to see a lot of people, interesting things and things of that matter. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, so how long have you been working here?
About 2 years now.
2 years? Have you worked any other security jobs besides this?
Yeah, it was in law enforcement, and now I am at hotels. Yeah.
Okay, so for your 2 years working here, what has been the craziest guest experience that you've had to face?
Suicide. Yeah. At one of my other jobs, guy jumped off the building, and like seeing that shit was kind of intense.
Yeah, that's intense just hearing about it.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Does New Orleans have a homeless crisis?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't call it a crisis because it's like pretty much any other major city, but like I feel like people are more lenient towards the homeless here. It's more like an understood thing versus other places.
Okay, so does like the homeless population around here? I mean, it's no secret New Orleans is New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
Does that affect your job here, or does that affect the guest in any type of way?
Guests that aren't from like major cities, I feel like they'll have more of an issue with it because it's a lot of loitering and people are more direct. And like I said, New Orleans is a place that interacts with their homeless, give food and money and those things of those matters. But, you come from a small town, you see this homeless person, you're more, agitated or, annoyed by it. So I wouldn't say it's a problem, but you're going to see homeless, you're going to interact with the homeless if you come here.
Okay. So if you could change like any certain aspect about this job, what would you change and why? That's if you want to change anything in the first place.
I mean, no, it's pretty much straightforward, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Nothing that I would say. Slow nuances, but just shit like a regular job. Like nothing, that screams, oh, it has to be changed.
Okay. So would you say like you like your job here? It's a pretty nice job. Okay, word. So I was talking with another person who worked here about just the artwork and how some people consider it to be racist, but it's kind of, in his words, just artwork of the time. What do you have to say about that?
Same thing. I think like it was of the time, and now it's kind of become a part of culture. I mean, I can see how people can be offended, but at the same time, it can be like an appreciation of it too. So I'm on a fence. Like I don't get offended when I walk in somewhere and see it because I understand the history of it and things of that nature. So I can see why people can feel some type of way, but at the same time, I like history. I'm okay with history. And I understand. So I don't think it's anything overly offensive or anything like that.
Okay, nice. So you said you've worked here for 2 years, correct? So that would mean you've been here for the quote unquote shit incident. I have heard supposedly that there was a very angry homeless person who spread shit on the walls. Would you like to talk about that?
I wasn't here specifically from it, but I did have to deal with the lingerings of it because you could still smell it for like weeks after the fact. So I didn't deal with it directly, but it was one of those things when you came to work, like, are you fucking kidding? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, my bad, man. I was just having a bad day that day. Well, let's see. You said you've worked law enforcement before this. Is that how you got this job, or?
Pandemic happened and I was working in that industry and I got kind of nervous because I was around, different types of people, criminals and that things that matter. I had just had a baby, so I didn't want to get them sick. So I just kind of transitioned over to, telesecurity and kind of stuck.
All right, well, next question. Why did you let me in here? Look how I'm dressed. Look how he's dressed.
So it's a hotel. It's kind of common because like you said, we got art, we got restaurants, we got things that matter, but it's like, part of the job, unfortunately, is profiling, but they got people dressed like homeless people that are millionaires. You know what I'm saying?
One of y'all head up to 1227 so there's bombing to the work.
25, can you catch that? He got it.
Okay, word. So, what's the craziest thing you've had to respond to in terms of like a radio call?
Homeless. This is actually like a week or two ago. A homeless guy was like, I don't know if he was having a drug reaction or what, but he got completely like naked and was like trying to get into the building. But he was just like in the street and like I like but called on a buzzer for him to get away from the door. And like he was fine. Like he left and went away, but like I'm getting off work and like he's still like in the street, crawling around. So I ended up calling 911 or whatever, but they never came.
So y'all was just left on y'all's own?
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. Like I said, once we did our part, we got him away from the hotel, away from the guests and the property and all that. So he wasn't a nuisance anymore, but that was pretty wild to just see somebody like completely stripped naked in front of the camera and just walking around.
Okay, word. So I waved to the camera earlier. I don't know who was working the desk, but did anybody see me?
I'm pretty sure they saw you, but there's multiple cameras, so they might have not been at that specific.
Well, you gotta make sure they saw me. I was looking fly right there. You know what I mean? That was like my good angle. Right, so I got the most important question. What would I have to do that would force you to remove me from the premises?
So, like immediately for threaten bodily harm or actually physically assault somebody, just be completely irate, theft, things of that matter, going in unrestricted areas, just typical ignorance, because most of the things that people do, we're not police, you know what I'm saying? So most of the time it's just things I can tell you to do it once, I can tell you to not do it twice, and that third time, okay, no, I have to get somebody involved.
Okay.
But yeah.
So as I understand it, you're the shift manager, correct?
Yeah.
So would y'all say y'all are understaffed or overstaffed?
Currently understaffed, but I mean, it's not like it's something that's completely out of hand. It's just right now,
Okay. So what's the protocol when a security guard doesn't show for a shift, if that ever happens?
Yeah, it's a job, so it's typical. Fortunately, we got a good enough team where it's just somebody will either come in early or leave late. So, it kind of works out.
Okay, I understand that. Well, I mean, that's pretty much all I have for you. Thank you so much for your time. This was a really nice interview. All right, well, thank you so much. And thank you for letting us use this beautiful art. I know he's okay. So, I'm Cole. It's nice to meet you. I'm with MUFS. I'm a journalist just coming to ask some questions. So, you're the first person I'm interviewing here that I don't know anything about. So, let's get a little background.
Okay, my name is Dylan, born and raised from New Orleans.
Word.
26 years old, in school, working on my MBA. A bit about this teaspoon.
All right. So, how long have you worked here?
It's close to 4 years now. I started in 2021, so 4 years.
Okay, so are you security? Are you just helping with the baggage? What's going on?
Trying to help them with baggage, so I'm the doorman. So basically, I help greet guests from the car, get them situated inside, help with luggage and things like that.
Okay. So what's your craziest story of being a bellman?
I mean, where do I begin? You meet all different type of characters, man, from all different types of people.
Like Peter Griffin, maybe?
Just like Peter Griffin, man. You can meet, the most dysfunctional people from off the streets. You have guests that are wild and crazy. I know Aiden can attest to some of the crazy stuff we see in this hotel, man. It's just crazy.
Especially this guy here.
Yeah. That's the man right there.
On me. Well, let's see. So, let's say you experience some homeless dude that's like, I want to rob you for crack. What's the protocol for that?
Call Aiden, man.
Call Aiden?
Call Aiden, man.
Aiden, come
security.
here.
When we say that in this village, it's called security, man. I mean, I don't really get into it. But just call security. That's all.
So then you're greeting all the guests, right? So who is I would say the most famous person you've seen or you've greeted?
We've gotten Lil Wayne up to this room before.
You got to be here with
I mean, I worked here for a Super Bowl, so mind you, just the owners, the Chiefs owners, we helped them with their bags up, Meg Thee Stallion, just a lot of different people, a lot of different celebrities. Miles Teller, he's real cool. He's a Philly fan, so helped him up to his room.
Okay, yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool. It's cool that you get to meet those people, man. That's really good opportunities, Well, anyways, I want to talk about the art here. I've noticed that some of the art is a little bit controversial, and I've interviewed some of the other workers here, and they said that it's not really controversial, but it's more just art of the time. Right. So I want to ask you, what's your personal take on that?
My personal opinion on it is it's two different. It's kind of like two-sided. When I look at it, it does kind of seem a little bit old, and it's a testament of the time of what was going on in that time of period, right? Of just slavery or things that were going on in that nature. So I think this hotel is just one of those ambiances where it's it's rooted in tradition, it's rooted in history, it's rooted in things that have happened from years and years ago. You have the Blue Room right next door where you've had famous musicians and jazz players and things like that. That's what's really well known for. So Roosevelt to me is one of those hotels that's just deep rooted in history, and some of the history can be not the most delightful, So that's just really my opinion on it.
Okay, word. That's a really good opinion to have. Good answer.
Thank you.
My bad. But anyways, let's see. So you're the bellman, so you get to see all types of people, all walks of life.
Right.
Do you think New Orleans has a homeless crisis? Since you're the front man, you're seeing it all.
I mean, yes. We really do have a really bad homelessness problem. Just from the type of people that was walking in and out of the hotel, right? Just going in the bathroom, sneaking up to the rooms. Just everywhere you look downtown, you can see a lot of homelessness. As far as crisis, I mean, I think it's one of those things where we're just so used to it. Do I consider it a crisis? Do I consider it normal at this point?
Damn,
that's a real good.
That's
That's
deep.
the question. Yeah.
That's the deep character. That's deep, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Well, how long did you say you were working here for?
I've been for 4 years.
For 4 years? So that means you would have been here the same time that the shit incident happened. Do you know what the shit incident is? So supposedly, some crazy person that looked an awful lot like Aiden went down the stairway just smearing shit on the walls. Do you have any knowledge of this?
No knowledge, no recollection.
So this must have been kept under wraps.
I don't even want to know anything about that. Let's just keep that wherever it's at.
Word, I got you. Well, then I'm just going to ask you one last question. If you could change one thing about your job, may it be the location, management, whatever you would like to change, what would it be and why? Before you answer that, dude, you're dripped out. that is like such a cool
Man, this is alright, man. You really tripping, man.
Bro, I'm surprised they let me in.
Like, you gotta get a close up on the shoes, man. It's swag right there, bro.
Dude, I was gonna bring my Timbs, but then I was like, I'm in New Orleans, bro. That's not
bro. If you would have brought them out, like.
Yeah, dude.
But one thing that I can change about this hotel, maybe the pay rate, but that's about it.
The pay rate? Okay, what?
That's about it.
So, would you be making tips? Like, are you considered service?
We're service, so that's the only way we really make our money is through gratuity.
Oh, word.
Yeah, that's really the main way.
Okay. Is there like what did you like set tip amount? Like for servers, you're supposed to tip like 20%, right?
Well, it's different with the doorman, right? So with the doorman, it's not a set tip rate that you get, but it's just people tip based off of the level of service that you provide. If you're dealing with somebody, you're helping them, catching every door for them, greeting them, talking to them, giving them recommendations for restaurants and things to do. If you're just really personal with people, they're gonna give you, a good amount of gratuity because that was a personal experience. Whereas some people, like they may tip based on how they may feel your service was. Whatever that tip may be, that's what they feel like they can give to someone. We just try to strive to work hard and do the best we can do.
Dude, that's hell yeah, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for your time. Shout out to Aiden. Shout out to you.
Man, appreciate you, man. Yeah, you as well, man. Thank you so much for letting us interview you. Dude, this is great. I think maybe like us walking down the hallway might be nice, and he's already filming because this dude's a fucking idiot. But anyways, thank you so much for the Roosevelt team for having us. We couldn't be any more grateful. We got some really good stories, some really good opinions and input from the workers here. The security team was respectable and nice. Shout out to them. They were awesome. Love you, Sammy. You're always in my heart forever. Shout out to the bellman. He was awesome. Shout out to the bartender at the Sazerac. And then the, I want to call her a hostess, but she's server. She's hostess? Okay, yeah. Then shout out to her. She was really sweet. Shout out to this guy right here. He's pretty cool. Hey, man. You're awesome.
See you, buddy.
Yeah, shout out to that guy. He's pretty cool. All the people who you've seen here were paid actors. Their steps don't trip and fall. But yeah, man, this is MUFS bringing you the truth and nothing but it. And I'm signing out. This was the New Orleans edition. We'll probably get some more videos here in the future. But this is what we can do with our time. And I think it was time well spent. Peace out. Attempt number 2. Let's see if this works out better this time. Did I just hit your leg? I'm so sorry. I'm trying to get in frame here. So you're probably wondering, how did two jackasses get into the Roosevelt to interview the security team? Well, you see this dude on the beanbag, he used to work there and he's also my cameraman. So as all people who do unpaid labor, we exploit it, and so I got us to interview them, and now I'm gonna do the last interview, which is this guy. So how long did you work there?
I worked there for 9 months.
9 months, that's a long time. That's a really long time. Yeah, hold the fucking microphone. I'm getting some use out of this.
This guy thinks he's funny.
I am funny. I'm a comedian, really. So you worked there for 9 months. What is the craziest thing you've seen on duty?
We had a lot of crazy stuff. It was like a weekly thing. We had homeless people getting naked in the bathrooms. This one time, a guy on what I presume to be shrooms stumbled out of his hotel room into the elevator and was so high he didn't know how to operate it. So he stood there for 10 minutes. Not even stood there. He was like on the ground tweaking out. But he ended up taking off all his clothes and peeing on the ground. And yeah, I found out about it on the next shift when I came in. We saw all the camera footage. So yeah.
I would fucking hate that. And you said that Sammy saved you, right? He didn't let you lean on the elevator?
Sammy did save me. I was going up to a call about a week later, and Sammy had, I just finished the call, and Sammy walked out of the elevator to hold it for me. And unbeknownst to me, that was the elevator. So the elevator that it happened in. So we walked in, and I was about to lean on the wall, and Sammy stopped me, thankfully. But then, I had to tell him, why the fuck would you bring me in this elevator? So,
Why would you bring me?
Yep.
It's the evil elevator of piss and shit and cum. So, besides that, I've asked everybody else if there is a homeless crisis in New Orleans. Since you don't work there anymore, what's your brutal, honest opinion on the work environment there, outside and inside?
The work environment there, I don't really know. I mean, it was fine. It was just a normal job. I wasn't really too stressed. I knew a lot of people looked up to me to keep them safe and all. So I took a lot of pride in that. But it was just a normal job at the end of the day.
So homeless people, is there a homeless problem in New Orleans?
Yeah, there's a homeless problem all over New Orleans. I think New Orleans is a little different. We're used to it, and we kind of take care of our homeless people. For example, at the hotel, we had a lot of regulars that came in, and I'm not gonna hold it against someone to go wash their face in a public bathroom, but when you start showering next to the toilet in the stall, that's when it starts to become a problem. So yeah, but the regulars, they were super cool. They never really lashed out on us, but we did have one person a week that would really cause issues, and we'd have to have the whole staff show up to fix it. So.
Okay, yeah, word. Did you ever have to experience something like the first guy said, like a broken drumstick falling down that's sharpened? You ever had to encounter somebody with a weapon?
Never a weapon, but there was this one time this guy snuck into the alleyway, and I went there with my manager, and he had a cup of some liquid, and he kind of threw it a little aggressively. So I was kind of expecting to get hit with it, but nothing happened. I've never really felt threatened. Whenever there's another officer there, I don't feel threatened. So.
Well, shit, bro, that's all I got for you. That's just a little bit of context, the last interview, and a little equipment test. Thanks, bro. Yep. Oh, shit. Wait, I got that on camera, right?